Once upon a time, there lived a beautiful young woman named Ayesha Bello. She was just 27 years old, but already, she had everything most people could only dream of. She lived in a house so big, she sometimes forgot which staircase to take to her room. Her cars were all parked in a garage that looked like a showroom, shiny, spotless, and expensive. She had cooks, drivers, maids, assistants, and a team of lawyers who followed her every move. But deep down, Ayesha Bello was lonely. Very lonely. Every morning, she opened her eyes in a room filled with gold curtains and silk sheets. But she didn't smile. Her bed was soft, but her heart felt heavy. Her house was full of workers, but no one to talk to. No one real. She had grown up in a powerful family. Her father was a respected businessman before he died. Her mother ran most of their affairs until she fell sick and passed on 2 years ago. Now, Ayesha was in charge of everything. And she did it well. She built things: schools, malls, charities. But her biggest dream was her hotel. The Crystal Shore, a luxury hotel in the heart of Lagos. It was her pride, her masterpiece. People called her names behind her back. The Ice Queen, too rich for love. She thinks money can buy happiness. But they didn't know what she faced. Ayesha had tried love, and love had tried her. The first man, Jide, told her she was the most amazing woman he'd ever met. But months later, she found out he had taken 18 million from her accounts to settle a small business deal. The second one, Emeka, said he loved her heart, not her money. Yet, 2 weeks after she opened a school in his village, he proposed with a ring he bought using her money. Each time she gave love a chance, it betrayed her. So, one morning, sitting alone in her glass dining room with untouched breakfast in front of her, she whispered something that changed everything. "I want to meet someone who sees me before they see my money." She stared at her reflection in the glass wall. Her face looked tired. Her eyes, though beautiful, were tired of pretending. She picked up her phone and dialed her assistant, Clara. "Yes, ma'am," Clara answered cheerfully. "Don't call me ma'am," Ayesha said softly. Clara laughed. "Okay, what should I call you then?" Ayesha paused. "Nothing for now. Just listen." That same afternoon, a woman named Ayesha Musa walked into Crystal Shore through the staff gate. Her hair was short now, curled close to her head. She wore simple clothes, brown trousers, and a plain navy blue polo shirt. Nobody knew she was the owner of the whole building. She walked quietly past security. Her name tag said Cleaner Ayesha Musa. She had told Clara to remove all her photos from the staff board. No one should know what the owner looked like. Even her hotel manager, Mr. Aiken, had never met her in person. All business was handled through lawyers and emails. The plan was perfect. Ayesha stood in the staff locker room, looking around. Other women were changing into their cleaning uniforms. Some laughed. Some were serious. Then, a loud voice broke through the room. "Who is the new girl?" a woman asked, frowning. Ayesha turned. The woman was older, maybe in her 40s. She had strong arms and tired eyes. Her name tag said, Mama Ronki Supervisor. Ayesha smiled softly. "Good afternoon, Ma. I'm Ayesha. I just joined today." The woman raised an eyebrow. "You just joined, and you're calling me Ma? Am I your teacher?" A few other cleaners laughed. "Sorry," Ayesha said quickly. "Good afternoon." Another cleaner, a tall woman with sharp cheekbones, walked closer. Her name was Bisi. She looked Ayesha up and down. "You look soft. You sure this job is for you?" she asked. Ayesha nodded slowly. "I'll do my best." The last woman, Sade, short and loud, clapped her hands together. "Let her carry the mop for Block C," she said. "Let's see how strong she really is." They all laughed again. Ayesha looked at the heavy bucket and mop. Her heart beat faster, but she kept her face calm. "Okay," she said, gripping the mop handle. For hours, she cleaned the hotel corridors. The tiles sparkled. The air smelled like lemon and polish. Guests walked past her like she didn't exist. One man almost stepped on her mop and barked, "Watch it." Another woman dropped a used tissue on the clean floor and pointed, "Pick that." Ayesha bent down without saying a word. She didn't expect kindness from them. Not yet. She just wanted to watch, to learn, to feel. By evening, her back hurt. Her fingers were sore. She had not worked this hard in years. She returned to the locker room, dragging her feet. Mama Ronki was there. "You survived one day. Let's see tomorrow," she said with a smirk. Ayesha gave a tired nod and sat down on the bench, wiping sweat from her neck. The same woman who had eaten brunch on a rooftop in Paris last week was now being laughed at for surviving one shift. And strangely, she liked it. That night, Ayesha returned to a tiny rented room near the hotel. She had paid for it quietly, in cash, under a false name. The mattress was thin. The fan made a strange humming sound, but it was peaceful. She lay on the bed, staring at the ceiling. Her body ached. Her hands had small blisters. But for the first time in years, her heart felt alive. The next morning, she arrived early. The hotel was quiet. The sun hadn't even risen yet. She began wiping the front glass doors before guests arrived. A voice spoke behind her. "You clean better than some people who've been here for years." She turned. A man stood there. He wore a white kitchen shirt, sleeves rolled up. He was tall, with kind eyes and dark skin that looked smooth from the heat of the kitchen. "Good morning," she said quietly. "Good morning," he replied. "I'm Kunle, Sue's chef." Ayesha nodded. "I'm Ayesha, cleaner." He smiled gently. "Well, Ayesha the cleaner, you have neat hands for someone who scrubs floors." She quickly hid her hands behind her back. "I'm learning," she said. Kunle shrugged. "You're doing fine. If anyone gives you trouble, ignore them. They don't pay your salary." Ayesha smiled a little. "Okay." Then he turned and walked back toward the kitchen. She stood there for a few seconds, her heart strangely warm. He had talked to her like a person, not a worker, not a tool, just a person. Later that day, as she mopped the elevator lobby, Sade and BC walked past her, whispering and laughing. "She thinks she's special because she's light-skinned," Sade said loudly. "Or maybe she came to find a husband among the staff," BC added. They laughed louder. Ayesha kept mopping. Just then, the elevator doors opened. A rich woman in high heels stepped out and frowned. "You again?" She snapped at Ayesha, always blocking the way. "I'm sorry, Ma," Ayesha said, pulling the mop to the side. The woman narrowed her eyes and said loud enough for everyone to hear, "People like you should learn how to stay invisible." Ayesha bowed her head. Behind her, the other cleaners smiled in quiet satisfaction. By lunch, her stomach growled, but she had no time to eat. The break room was small, and the others had already taken the best seats. She sat outside on a step, eating bread she had brought from home. The kitchen door opened, and Kunle stepped out with a tray. He looked at her. No seat inside. She shook her head. He walked over and placed a small bowl beside her. "Try this. It's leftover stew, still warm." Ayesha stared at the bowl. "I didn't ask," she said softly. "I know," he said, "but you look hungry." She picked up the spoon slowly. One taste. Her eyes widened. "This is really good," she whispered. Kunle sat beside her on the steps. "Cooking is my peace," he said. "I want to open my own place one day. Nothing big, just peaceful." Ayesha nodded slowly. "That sounds nice." For 10 quiet minutes, they ate side by side. No titles, no wealth, just food and peace. That evening, as Ayesha walked back to her room, she thought about his words. "I want peace." So did she. But peace came with a price. To find it, she had to stay invisible. To be loved, she had to stay poor. And to feel real again, she had to survive this new world she had entered. Not as Ayesha Bello the billionaire, but as Ayesha Musa the cleaner. And tomorrow, she would return. The next morning, Ayesha woke up early again. Her body ached from the day before. Her back hurt. Her arms felt stiff, but she didn't complain. She sat up from the thin mattress in her small rented room, tied her scarf, and stood quietly by the tiny window. Outside, the street was still dark. A dog barked in the distance. A car horn echoed once and faded. She looked at her hands. The soft palms she was once known for had started to change. Blisters formed across her fingers. Her nails were chipped. But she was getting used to it. She dressed in her cleaner uniform, packed her bread and boiled egg, and stepped out without a word. By 5:20 a.m., she arrived at Crystal Shore through the staff entrance. The security man nodded at her. "You're early again," he said. "I like quiet mornings," she replied, then walked in. She entered the locker room and changed into her blue cleaning overalls. Her name tag, Ayesha Musa, hung slightly crooked. She didn't fix it. She didn't care about appearances here. Just as she finished tying her apron, she heard the loud voice. "So you came back." It was Mama Ronke. Ayesha turned and forced a calm smile. "Yes, Ma." "Ma again?" Mama Ronke rolled her eyes. "This one likes to form respect. You think greeting me will save you from work? I just..." "Quiet," Mama Ronke snapped. "You're going to clean Block B today. All the rooms, all the toilets. And I want the floor to shine like Jesus is walking on it." Sade and BC entered behind her, laughing. "She should also clean the trash room," BC added. "It stinks because someone forgot to wash the bins." Mama Ronke grinned. "Perfect. Add it." Ayesha swallowed hard. Her mouth went dry. The trash room was the worst. Even other cleaners avoided it. "Any problem?" Mama Ronke asked. "No," Ayesha said quietly. "Good. Go and work. If I don't like what I see, you'll clean it again." By 6 a.m., Ayesha was already scrubbing the toilet floor on the 3rd floor. She wore gloves, but the strong soap still made her hands sting. She cleaned slowly, carefully. The smell of bleach filled her nose. She moved from one toilet to the next, wiping, scrubbing, washing. Sweat ran down her back. Guests passed through the hallway, some stepping over her mop without a glance. By 9 a.m., she was down in the trash room. The stench hit her as soon as she opened the door. Rotten food, old diapers, plastic wrappers, something else she couldn't name. She pulled the mask over her nose and pushed the cleaning trolley inside. As she scrubbed, someone kicked the door open. It was Bissy. "Oh, you're still here," Bissy said, laughing. Ayesha looked up, still kneeling. "What do you want?" she asked, trying to stay calm. "Nothing," Bissy said. "Just came to see if the princess is enjoying her kingdom." "I'm working." Let me help you," Bissy said, then reached for the trash bin Ayesha had just finished scrubbing and kicked it over. Rotten pieces spilled all over the floor again. Ayesha stared in shock. Her hands froze. "Why?" she asked slowly. "Why not?" Bissy replied, crossing her arms. "You think you can just come here, pretend to be humble, and we won't see through it? You're not like us." "I'm not trying to be like anyone," Ayesha said. "Oh, please. Your skin is too fresh. Your English too smooth. You don't belong here." Ayesha stood up slowly. "I'm just trying to work," she said quietly. "Please let me." "Don't cry," Bissy teased. "There are no tissues in the trash." She laughed and walked out, slamming the door behind her. Ayesha looked at the mess, then picked up the bin again and started over. By 1 p.m., she sat under the staircase with her packed bread. Her head leaned back against the wall. Her clothes smelled like bleach and sour waste. Her stomach turned, but she forced herself to eat. She didn't want pity. She didn't want praise. She just wanted to be treated like a person. Footsteps came down the hall. She didn't look up. "Still here?" It was Kunle's voice again. She blinked and looked up at him. "You look tired," he said. "I'm okay," she replied. He sat beside her, just like yesterday. "No one should look this tired by day 2, he said. "It's just work," she said. He reached into his lunchbox and pulled out a soft plastic bottle. "Here," he said, handing it to her. "Zobo. Cold." She took it and held it in her hands for a moment. "Thank you," she whispered. He watched her. "Do they treat you badly?" he asked. She hesitated. "It's nothing," she said. "It's not nothing if you have to sit here hiding," he said. "I'm not hiding. You are." She looked down at the bottle. I just want to be left alone, she said. You're too quiet, Kunle said. She looked up. Is that a bad thing? No. But people like you, people who keep pain inside, sometimes break too quietly. Ayesha didn't respond. He leaned back against the wall. You know, I used to work in a hotel in Port Harcourt. Kitchen staff. It was okay. But when the head chef liked you, everything was fine. When he didn't, you became a ghost. Ayesha nodded slowly. I know that feeling, she said. Yeah? She looked at him carefully. Yes. He smiled. Anyway, he said, standing up. Zobo makes everything better. Trust me. He walked away. She watched him go. Then she opened the drink and took a slow sip. It tasted sweet. Back in the hallway, Mama Ronki waited for her. Where were you? She asked. Break time, Ayesha replied. You think break is for people like you? She snapped. Did you finish Block B? Yes. We'll see. Mama Ronka marched toward the floor. Ayesha followed, holding her cleaning cart. They entered the first room. The floor was shiny. The bathroom was clean. But Mama Ronki frowned. Still dirty, she said. She dipped her hand into the mop bucket, grabbed some of the water, and poured it on the floor. Do it again, she said. And this time, clean like your life depends on it. Ayesha stared at the water dripping down the floor. She didn't speak. She just picked up her mop and began again. Around 3 p.m., a guest entered the hallway. A tall woman in a long red gown, carrying a gold purse. She stopped near Ayesha. Are you the cleaner? She asked. Yes, Ma, Ayesha replied. The woman pointed at the bathroom near the pool area. There's a smell, she said. Fix it. Yes, Ma. And next time, move faster. I don't like repeating myself. Yes, Ma. Ayesha walked quickly to the poolside bathroom. It was clean, but she sprayed air freshener and wiped the surfaces again. When she returned, the woman stood with another guest, laughing loudly. That cleaner walks like her legs are broken, she said. The other woman joined her. Her face looks tired. Or maybe her whole life is tired. They both laughed. Ayesha walked past them slowly, holding her mop, staring at the floor. Her ears burned, but she kept walking. By 5 p.m., her shift ended. She returned to the staff locker room. She sat on the bench, untied her apron, and looked at the small bruise on her arm. It came from bumping into a sharp corner in the trash room. Sade entered the room, humming. Hope you enjoyed your royal duties, she said. Ayesha didn't answer. Sade sat beside her. You won't last long here, she said. We've seen girls like you. Ayesha looked at her. What kind of girl am I? Sade shrugged. The kind who thinks she's humble, but is just hiding something. I'm not hiding anything, Ayesha said calmly. Sure, Sade said, standing. Let's see how long your mouth stays shut. She walked out. Later that evening, Ayesha lay on her mattress in her small room. She stared at the ceiling, eyes wide open. The fan made its strange noise. She touched her bruised arm. She thought of Bisi's kick, Mama Ronke's cold eyes, the woman in red, the hallway laughter. She closed her eyes and whispered softly, You wanted to feel what they feel. Now you are. Then she remembered Kunle's voice again. People who keep pain inside sometimes break too quietly. She smiled faintly. She wasn't broken yet. She just needed to hold on. Tomorrow was another day, and she would return. The next day came like the others, early, dark, and quiet. Ayesha walked through the staff gate of Crystal Shore Hotel wearing her cleaner uniform, her head low. The cold morning breeze touched her face, but her mind was already far away, thinking about the day ahead. She wasn't scared anymore, but she was tired, not just in her body, but in her heart. Yesterday had stretched her patience. Mama Ronke, Bisi, and Sade had done everything to break her spirit. But she had survived it. Now, she only needed to survive again. As she stepped into the locker room, she noticed something different. It was empty. For once, the voices, laughter, and mocking whispers were not there. She sat alone and tied her apron, moving slowly, enjoying the silence. Then her phone buzzed. It was a small, cheap phone she bought just for this role. No one knew her real number. No one knew who she was. The message was from Clara, her personal assistant. Security footage cleared. Manager still doesn't suspect anything. Staff files updated. You're safe. Ayesha stared at the screen for a second, then deleted the message. This whole plan, living as a cleaner, hiding her identity, was her way of searching for something money could not buy. Now, the game was real, and the hotel was watching. By 6:45 a.m., she was mopping the hallway just outside the kitchen. Her back was bent low. The mop squeaked with every turn. Her hands were steady, even though her fingers ached. Suddenly, the kitchen door swung open. A wave of steam rushed out, carrying the smell of pepper, onions, and hot oil. Then a voice came behind her. You clean like someone who's fighting with the floor. Ayesha turned her head and smiled. It was Kunle again, in his white chef shirt, with rolled-up sleeves and sweat across his forehead. I'm not fighting the floor, Ayesha replied. I'm just trying to keep up. He leaned on the mop handle gently and looked at her. I saw you yesterday, he said. You worked until the sky went dark. I had a lot to do, she said quietly. Kunle raised one eyebrow. You don't talk much, do you? Ayesha looked down at the bucket. Talking doesn't change anything. Sometimes it does, he replied. She didn't answer. He looked at her for a moment, then said, Wait here. She watched him walk back into the kitchen. He returned less than a minute later with a small plate wrapped in foil. I made too much bread toast this morning, he said. Take it. I have food, Ayesha said quickly. Eat that later. This one is hot. She looked at the plate. Then at him. Why are you always giving me food? She asked. Because you always look like someone who needs it, he replied. Ayesha didn't know what to say. No one had ever spoken to her like that. Not as a boss. Not as a rich woman. Not even as a cleaner. Just as a human being. She took the plate carefully. Thank you. He nodded. Sit and eat. You have 5 minutes. They sat on the edge of a staff hallway bench. Ayesha opened the foil. 2 slices of toast were inside, golden brown, with a soft spread of margarine. She took a small bite. Her eyes widened. This is really good, she said softly. Kunle smiled. I'm glad you like it. You cook well. I should. I've been doing it since I was 13. Why? My father left. My mother worked 2 jobs. If I didn't cook, we'd starve. Ayesha chewed slowly, her eyes watching him. I'm sorry. He waved his hand like it didn't matter. It made me strong. There was a short silence. Then she asked, Why are you still working in hotels? Why not open your own place? Kunle laughed. You think it's easy? I didn't mean. No, it's okay, he said. I get it. People think dreams happen just like that. But dreams need money. And support. And people who believe in you. I have the dream. I don't have the rest. Ayesha looked at him carefully. What's the dream? She asked. He looked at the floor for a second, then back at her. A quiet restaurant. Not fancy. Just clean. Good food. No noise. No shouting. Just peace. Ayesha stared at him. She knew that word. Peace. She had money, fame, property. But peace? She had never tasted it. And this man, sitting beside her with flour on his hands and hope in his eyes, was chasing it with empty pockets. Suddenly, the moment was broken by a voice. Cleaner, what are you doing there? It was Mama Ronki, standing at the end of the hallway with her hands on her hips. Ayesha stood up quickly. I was just what? Gossiping with the kitchen boy? Kunle frowned. I gave her food. That's all. And you gave her mouth to run too? Mama Ronke snapped. Ayesha stepped forward. I'll go back to work now. You better, Mama Ronke said sharply. This is not a dating center. She walked off, mumbling to herself. Ayesha picked up her mop. Her heart beat faster. Kunle watched her for a moment. I don't care what she thinks, he said. Ayesha replied quietly. Why? Because she's watching. He nodded slowly, understanding. Then he said, Still, you should smile more. You're better at it than you think. The rest of the day passed slowly. The work was heavy. Sade and BC whispered behind her back every time she passed. She thinks Kunle will save her. She wants to use beauty to rise. They dropped crumbs in rooms she had just cleaned, reported her for slow mopping, told guests she was not serious. But Ayesha kept working, one mop stroke after another, because now she had something new to think about. Not just survival, but peace. At closing time, as staff moved toward the exit, Kunle appeared again. He stood near the back gate, holding a cooler bag. "You're going home now?" he asked. "Yes. Where's home?" She pointed down the road. "Just a few minutes from here." He nodded. "That's good." He opened the cooler and brought out a small pack. "Take this. Rice and stew. Leftover." "I can't keep taking your food," she said. "It's not mine. The food belongs to the hotel. It would have gone to waste. I'd rather give it to you." She hesitated, then took it gently. "Thank you, Kunle." "You're welcome, Ayesha." They stood quietly for a few seconds. Then he asked, "Can I ask you something?" She looked up. "Yes? Who are you really?" Her heart jumped. She kept her face still. "What do you mean?" "You talk like someone who's been through a lot," he said. "But you carry yourself like someone hiding something." "I'm not hiding." "Then why do you look scared when people talk to you kindly?" Ayesha didn't answer. He looked at her again, then said softly, "Never mind. It's not my business." He stepped back. She whispered, "You're wrong." He posed. "I'm not scared of kindness," she said. "I just don't want to expect it and lose it." He gave a slow nod. "Fair enough." Then he turned and walked away. Ayesha stood there for a long time, alone, holding rice and stew. And for the first time in years, she felt something deep in her chest. Not fear, not sadness. Something small and warm. Ayesha stepped into the staff entrance before the sun came up. She had barely slept, not because of the work, but because of her thoughts. Last night, Kunle's words played in her mind like a soft drumbeat. "Who are you really? You carry yourself like someone hiding something." He was close, too close. She had to stay careful. The more he noticed her, the more dangerous this plan became. But even with that worry, part of her smiled. He had seen something in her, not money, not beauty, just something real. And that scared her more than anything. The locker room was full when she arrived. BC, Sade, and Mama Ronke were all there, laughing and talking like nothing could touch them. As soon as Ayesha entered, the air changed. Mama Ronke looked up and folded her arms. "Cleaner of the week has arrived." Sade clapped slowly. "Let's give her an award," BC added. "Or maybe just give her Kunle, since that's what she's cleaning for." The three of them burst into laughter. Ayesha walked to her locker and sat down. She said nothing. She had learned that responding made things worse. Silence, at least, protected her pride. But today, something was different. She felt a chill in the room, like something had already gone wrong, but she hadn't been told yet. By 7 a.m., she was assigned to clean the VIP floor. She hadn't been there before. This was the top floor, glass walls, soft carpets, and golden light fixtures. Every guest there was either rich or powerful. She rolled her mop bucket carefully across the hall. She had just finished wiping the floor near room 803 when a voice called from behind her. "Hey, you, cleaner." She turned. A tall man in a white robe stood outside his room with his phone in one hand and anger in his eyes. "Yes, sir," Ayesha said quickly. "What nonsense is this?" He snapped. "There's hair in my bathtub." "I'm sorry, sir. Do you think I paid 400,000 per night to bathe in someone else's hair?" "No, sir." "Then fix it." Ayesha pushed her trolley toward his room. She entered quickly and walked into the bathroom. True, there were 2 strands of hair in the tub, but they didn't look like hers. She hadn't cleaned this room yet. She wore gloves and began wiping the tub anyway. The man stood by the door. "This is the problem with people like you," he said. "No sense of quality." "I understand," Sia. No, you don't. You just nod your head and smile. She said nothing. He kept talking. Loudly. How old are you? He asked suddenly. Ayesha blinked. Sir? I said. How old are you? 27, sir. So you've wasted 27 years doing this? Ayesha paused her cleaning for a second. She felt heat rush to her face, but she forced her hands to keep wiping. I'm not wasting anything, she said quietly. He scoffed. That's what they all say. Until age catches up, then they cry. She finished cleaning and stood up. Is there anything else, sir? He stared at her. No. Go before I complain. She rolled her trolley out, her heart pounding. Outside the room, she saw two other guests in suits watching her. One whispered, "She's kind of pretty for a cleaner." The other one replied, "They all look clean on the outside. But look at the work they do." They both laughed. Ayesha walked faster. Her face burned. Her fingers shook. But she didn't cry. Downstairs, she was sent to clean the staff toilets. The worst job of the day. Dirty sinks, tissue on the floor, blocked toilets. As she entered, she saw the mess. It wasn't normal. Someone had done this on purpose. Toilet paper was everywhere. Food wrappers in the sink. Soap squeezed on the floor. She stood still. Then she heard a voice behind her. "Hope you're enjoying your promotion." She turned. It was Sade. "What is this?" Ayesha asked. Sade folded her arms. "VIP floor today. Wow. You're moving fast. I was sent there. I didn't ask." That's what you'll say when you steal someone's husband too. Ayesha stepped forward. "Why do you hate me?" she asked. Sade laughed. "Hate? Please. I just don't like your face, or your voice, or your fake manners. I'm not fake. You are. You don't belong here. You walk like a queen pretending to be poor." Ayesha took a breath. "If you don't like me, that's fine. But this?" She pointed at the mess. "This is wickedness." Sade smiled coldly. "Then clean it well. You know how management hates dirt." She walked away slowly. Ayesha looked at the mess again. Then she picked up her gloves and started cleaning. Later that afternoon, she stood by the staff break area, holding her bottle of water. Her hands were sore, her knees hurt, her head throbbed. Then she saw BC walking toward her, carrying a tray. But instead of food, the tray had old cutlery piled high, dirty spoons and sticky forks. She dropped it on a bench near Ayesha and said, "Wash those." Ayesha blinked. "Why me?" "Because the dishes lady is not around." "And I said so." "I wasn't told." "Are you arguing with me?" Ayesha looked at the tray. She had just finished scrubbing the toilets. "Now this?" BC leaned closer. "Do you want me to report you?" Ayesha swallowed her words. "No." "Good. There's soap and sponge at the sink. Be fast." BC walked away. Ayesha took the tray, walked to the staff sink, and began scrubbing. Each spoon felt heavier than the last. Her mind screamed, but her face stayed calm. Because here, weakness was blood, and they could smell it. By 5 p.m., the shift was almost over. Ayesha walked through the hallway with her empty cart. She passed the kitchen and saw Kunle. He waved at her. She gave a small smile. He stepped outside with a towel on his shoulder. "Rough day?" he asked. She nodded slowly. "You look like you've been in a fight." "I was." "Who won?" She gave a small laugh. "Not me." He looked at her closely. "You're not okay." "I'm fine." "No, you're not." She leaned against the wall. "They hate me here." "Who?" "Ronki, Sadie, BC, even some guests." Kunle was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "Do you want me to report it?" "No." "Why not?" "Because if I fight them, I'll lose." He tilted his head. "You're not weak. I'm not strong either. You are. You just don't know it yet." Ayesha looked at him. Then she said, "Can I ask you something?" "Of course." "Why do you talk to me?" He smiled. "Because you listen. That's all." "No. You work hard. You don't complain. You try to be invisible. But I still see you." She looked down. "Be careful." she whispered. Why? Because people like me don't get happy endings. He took a step closer. Then let's change the story. She looked up at him, unsure how to reply. He reached into his pocket and handed her a wrapped snack. Go home. Rest. Tomorrow is another battle. As Ayesha walked out through the back gate, her body ached. Her heart was tired, but something else had settled deep inside her. Not sadness, not fear, just a quiet fire. They wanted her to break. They wanted her to give up. But they would not get what they wanted. Not yet. Ayesha woke up with a strange feeling in her chest. It was not fear, not anger, not sadness. It felt like something waiting to happen, something she could not name. She dressed slowly and tied her scarf. Even the fan in her small room made a different sound, like it was waiting too. On her walk to the hotel, the street smelled of bread from a small bakery. Cars and bikes rushed past, horns shouting at each other. But inside her mind, everything was quiet. She reached the staff gate and signed in. The guard looked at her name tag and nodded without interest. No one cared who the cleaners were. No one asked where they came from. No one asked what they dreamed about. Cleaners had no stories here, only tasks. Inside the locker room, the same voices waited for her like smoke in a small kitchen. There she is, Sade said, rolling her eyes. The VIP cleaner, BC added with a smirk. Mama Ronki sat on the bench tying her shoes. She didn't bother looking up. Go to the kitchen area today. They are short of hands. And don't be slow. Ayesha nodded. Yes, Ma. No, Ma, Ronki snapped. It annoys me. Ayesha pressed her lips together and said nothing more. She picked up her mop bucket and left the room, pushing her trolley with both hands. The kitchen was hot and smelled of pepper and onions again. Metal pans hit each other. Knives cut vegetables fast. The sound was sharp and quick. Kunle stood near the stove, cooking noodles in a large pan. When he saw her, he smiled. You survived again. Ayesha gave a small smile back. Barely. Barely. Is still something, he said. Come. You can sweep this area. Just don't step on the red line. That's for staff with knives. Ayesha looked at the red tape on the floor and nodded. As she swept, she could feel eyes on her. Staff whispered. Some laughed. But no one came close enough to speak to her directly. Kunle pretended not to notice, but his jaw was stiff. He did not like how the others watched her. When the head chef walked in, everyone straightened their backs. He was a large man with a bald head and small angry eyes. Good morning, he said, but his voice did not sound like a greeting. Yes, chef, the kitchen replied. He sniffed the air. Where is the chicken stock? In the cold room, chef, one cook replied. Bring it out. Now. As the cook turned, the chef's eyes fell on Ayesha. His face twisted. What is she doing inside my kitchen? Ayesha froze. Kunle stepped forward. She is assigned to sweep, chef. She is a cleaner, the chef snapped. She can sweep outside, not inside. She will bring dirt. Kunle shook his head. She is wearing gloves and hairnet. It's fine. It is not fine, the chef said, raising his voice. I run a clean kitchen, not a market. Remove her. Kunle's eyes darkened. She is not in anybody's way. The chef stared at him for a long moment. The room fell silent. Then he waved his hand and turned away. Do what you want, he muttered. But if I see dust, I will skin all of you. Kunle looked at Ayesha. Ignore him. He thinks he is God. Ayesha continued sweeping. But something had shifted. The kitchen staff had seen it. Kunle had chosen her side. Not quietly, but openly. Later in the day, around lunchtime, Ayesha took her break outside behind the building. She sat on a small block and removed her gloves. Her fingers were wrinkled from water. She heard the kitchen back door open. Someone walked out. You didn't eat, Kunle said, holding a container. I will eat later, Ayesha replied. You said that yesterday too, he said. She shrugged. It's fine. Kunle sat beside her. You know what I noticed? What? You never say you're hungry. You just pretend you're fine. I am fine. You're not, he said, opening the container. Eat. She looked at the food. Jollof rice with plantain. She hesitated, then picked up the fork. Thank you, she whispered. Kunle watched her eat. I was thinking. About what? She asked. People here treat you like dirt. She paused. I know. And you just take it. It's better that way. Better for who? He asked. She didn't answer. Kunle leaned back. If someone talked to me like that, I would talk back. You're strong, she said. So are you, he replied. She looked up at him. I'm not strong. You are, he said. You just hide it. She didn't know what to say, so she took another bite. After lunch, the hall smelled of fried chicken and pepper. Ayesha continued her sweeping near the kitchen door. She heard yelling inside. The head chef's voice cut through the air. Where is the chicken? It was here this morning. Another voice answered nervously. Chef, I don't know. I didn't touch it. Don't lie to me, the chef shouted. Someone stole it. Ayesha stopped sweeping. The chef's voice got louder. Everyone stop. Nobody leaves this kitchen. Staff froze. Pots stopped moving. The fridge door stayed open. Then the chef looked toward the staff corridor. You, he yelled, pointing at Ayesha. Her heart jumped. Sir, you cleaned here today, he said. Did you see anything? No, sir, she replied. You must have seen something, he snapped. Chicken does not walk away on its own. I didn't see anything, she said again. The chef walked closer. I don't trust you. You have been moving around this area like you own it. Kunle stepped between them. She said she didn't see anything. Chef, he said firmly. Leave her alone. The chef's eyes widened. Are you defending her? Yes. The kitchen staff whispered. She's just a cleaner, the chef hissed. You're a sous chef. Cleaner or not, she didn't steal your chicken, Kunle said. The chef pointed at the storage door. Bring the manager. We are having a search. Within minutes, the hotel manager, 2 assistant managers, the head chef, and several kitchen staff gathered. Ayesha stood with her back against the wall. Her mop bucket sat beside her. The manager adjusted his glasses. What is the issue? Food is missing, the chef said. Chicken we prepared for tonight. And this girl was here sweeping since morning. She saw something. I didn't, Ayesha said quietly. The manager looked at her name tag. Ayesha, Musa. Yes, sir. Open her bag, the chef demanded. Ayesha blinked. My bag? Yes, the chef said. Open it. Kunle stepped forward. Chef, don't do that. She wouldn't. Quiet. The chef snapped. Ayesha swallowed and opened her bag. It was empty except for tissue and her phone. No chicken, Kunle said dryly. This proves nothing, the chef snapped. Maybe she hid it in the staff fridge. The manager sighed. We can check security cameras. Everyone paused. Security. That was the one thing Ayesha did not want involved. Not because she stole anything, but because people with power had ways of being exposed by screens. But before the manager could order cameras, BC appeared from the corridor, holding a bag. Chef, she said loudly. Look what I found. Everyone stared at her. She stepped forward and opened the bag. Inside were pieces of raw chicken, exactly the same ones missing. Gasps filled the kitchen. The chef looked at Ayesha. There. I told you. Ayesha stared at the bag. She had never seen it before. I didn't do that, she said. Of course you didn't, the chef mocked. Chicken just walked into your hiding place. Kunle raised his voice. Stop. This is wrong. The chef snapped back. Are you calling me a liar? I'm saying she did not do this, Kunle said. Anyone can see that. The manager cleared his throat. Who found the chicken? I did, BC said proudly. Where? The manager asked. In the corner behind the sink. Ayesha shook her head. I never went there. She's lying, BC said. No, Ayesha said calmly. I'm not. The manager looked at her for a long moment, then turned to Kunle. Why are you defending her? Because it's the truth, Kunle said. The chef slammed his hand on the counter. If she didn't take it, then who did? Silence filled the room. The air was heavy. Then the chef pointed at Ayesha again. I want her gone. Kunle stepped closer. And I say she stays. The chef laughed. Since when did cleaners need protection from sous chefs? Since people started lying, Kunle said. The chef's face turned red. You're fired. Everyone froze. The words hung in the kitchen like smoke. You can't fire me, Kunle said slowly. Only the manager can. Everyone turned to the manager. The manager looked tired. Kunle, you have been causing trouble lately. You are stressing the kitchen. Maybe you should take a break. A break? Kunle repeated. The manager whispered to the chef, then turned back to Kunle. You're suspended for now, he said. We will call you later. Suspended. But everyone knew what that meant. Suspension in kitchens never ended with a return. It always ended with a replacement. Kunle stared at them, then looked at Ayesha. His eyes were hurt, confused, and angry all at once. No one spoke as he removed his apron and placed it on the counter. He picked up his small cooler bag and walked out through the back door. No one followed him. Not one person. Ayesha stood alone, her mop handle shaking in her hand. The head chef smirked. Problem solved. Then he walked away. Ayesha finished her shift in silence. No one mocked her now. No one laughed. No one whispered. The kitchen had gotten what it wanted. She had lost her only friend. At the end of the day, she walked toward the gate, holding her small bag tightly. She didn't want to go home yet, not with the weight in her chest. She turned the corner near the staff exit and froze. Kunle was sitting on the steps, elbows on his knees, staring at the floor. Ayesha stepped closer. Kunle, she said softly. He didn't look up. You didn't have to defend me, she said. Yes, I did, he replied. She sat beside him slowly. I'm sorry. He looked at her. For the first time since she met him, he didn't smile. I stood up for you, he said. I lost my job for you. I know. And when I needed you to speak, you said nothing. Kunle looked away. Tell me something, he whispered. Why didn't you talk? Ayesha opened her mouth. But no words came out. She wanted to tell him the truth. She wanted to explain everything. About who she was. About why she was here. About why silence was part of the test she created for herself. But she couldn't say it. Not yet. Not now. Instead, she looked down at her hands. Kunle waited for her answer, but she had none. After a long moment, he stood up. Good night, Ayesha. Then he walked away. She didn't call his name. She didn't follow him. She just sat there as the evening breeze touched her cheeks and the streetlights came on one by one. The lie had not broken her, but her silence had broken him, and it hurt more than anything money had ever cost. The hotel buzzed with excitement. The lobby sparkled like gold. The floors had been polished twice. The chandeliers above looked like falling stars. Every curtain was straight. Every corner smelled like sweet lavender. Today was the grand opening. The day everyone had been waiting for. All the important guests had arrived. Government officials, wealthy business owners, bloggers, TV reporters. Some came in black cars with tinted windows. Others came in long convoys. Cameras flashed. People smiled. The red carpet had been rolled out from the parking lot to the glass entrance. Staff members were told to look sharp, walk fast, speak softly, and smile wide. Even cleaners. Ayesha stood near the flower wall at the back of the hall, dressed like she had been every day for weeks. Blue cleaner uniform, rubber shoes, name tag that read Ayesha Musa. But today, her face was calm in a different way. Something inside her had stopped shaking. She had made her decision. She stood still, holding a mop she didn't plan to use. In the staff locker room earlier that morning, BC had laughed louder than usual. Let me see how Miss Cleaner will behave today, she had said. She should stay far from the big people. Said replied, or maybe she'll try to flirt with the governor. They laughed. Even Mama Ronke chuckled. She should not embarrass us. She already smells like embarrassment. Ayesha hadn't said a word. She just picked up her bucket, tied her apron, and walked out. Now she stood quietly in the corner of the grand hall. Nobody noticed her. To them, she was just part of the background. A wall, a broom, a hand that wiped tables when no one was looking. She looked around. The hotel had never looked more beautiful. But behind the lights and flowers, she could still see them Ronke near the drink station giving orders she had no right to give. Sade chatting loudly beside a group of rich guests. BC walking around like a proud supervisor. And Kunle? He was not here. Of course he wasn't. He had been thrown out. Because of her. Because of a lie. Because she stayed silent. Now the event had started. The manager stood on a raised platform with a microphone in his hand. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, "thank you for coming to witness this special day. The opening of Crystal Shore Hotel is not just the beginning of a new business. It is the start of a new dream for our city." Applause followed. Guests nodded. Cameras clicked. "Very soon," he continued, "you will meet the owner of this great place, a woman of strength, vision, and humility. But first, a short video." The lights dimmed. A large screen behind the platform came on. A soft song played. The video showed the building from the ground-up construction clips, wall painting, furniture delivery, staff training, beautiful shots of the city skyline. Then came a photo of a woman standing beside a signed document. The woman had a scarf tied over her hair. She wore black sunglasses. Even in the dim light, her posture spoke power. Ayesha. The screen showed her name. Founder, Ayesha Bello. The lights came back on. The room fell silent. People looked at each other. Whispers began. "The cleaner? No, it can't be. She has the same name. I've seen that cleaner every day." But they said she was just staff. The manager cleared his throat. "Please rise and welcome the founder of Crystal Shore Hotel." He smiled and extended his hand toward the back of the room. "Miss Ayesha Bello." All eyes turned, and Ayesha walked forward. She did not change clothes. She did not remove the apron. She walked down the red carpet in her cleaner uniform. Each step sounded louder than the one before. Cameras turned. Mouths opened. BC's hand dropped the glass she was holding. It shattered. Sade stared like her spirit had left her body. Mama Ronke blinked like her eyes had lied to her. But the biggest silence came from the guests. Ayesha reached the stage and climbed up slowly. She took the mic from the manager. Her voice came out soft, but strong. "Good evening." More silence. Then she continued. "My name is Ayesha Bello. For the past few weeks, many of you have seen me walking around with a mop, cleaning toilets, sweeping floors, eating under the staircase." Her eyes moved across the room. Some heads dropped. "I did not do it to play games. I did not do it to fool anyone. I did it because I was tired of living in a world where everyone sees my money first." She paused. "I wanted to feel what it was like to be looked at without importance. To be judged, ignored, even insulted." Her voice shook a little, but she kept going. "And I felt it." She looked directly at Mama Ronke. "I felt it when someone gave me the hardest jobs." She turned to BC. "I felt it when someone lied and blamed me for what they did." She turned to Sade. "I felt it when you called me names behind my back and sometimes to my face." The three women looked like their feet were glued to the ground. Ayesha turned back to the crowd. "But I also met someone who didn't care what I looked like, or how I dressed, or what my name tag said." She took a deep breath. "He saw me, and he protected me, even when it cost him everything." The guests looked around. Some already knew who she meant. Others waited. Ayesha's voice cracked slightly. "His name is Kunle, and he was the only person in this whole hotel who acted like a human being." Some people clapped softly. Others just stared. The manager walked back up and whispered, "Should we call him back?" Ayesha shook her head. She turned back to the mic. "He won't come back," she said, "because I failed him." She stepped off the stage and walked down the carpet again, the same way she came up. No guards, no tears, just silence and heavy breathing, and shame. Outside the hotel, Ayesha stepped into the cool air. The night had fallen. The lights on the building glowed like soft fire. She stood near the fountain, breathing slowly. Then a voice behind her said, "So, it was all fake?" She turned. Kunle stood there, wearing a black shirt and jeans. His hands were in his pockets. He looked tired and different. Ayesha froze. "I didn't know you'd come," she said. "I wasn't going to," he replied. "But then I heard the video." She stepped forward. "I'm sorry." He held up his hand. "Let me ask you one thing." She waited. "Was any of it real?" he asked. "The way you looked at me, the way you talked to me, the way you listened?" Ayesha's lips parted. "Yes." "Then, why did you let me lose everything?" he asked. She looked down. "I told myself that if someone truly saw me, I shouldn't have to step in." He laughed bitterly. "That's a rich thing to say." She looked up, eyes wet. "I didn't plan for you to get hurt. But I did." Silence passed between them like a long shadow. Then Kunle said, "I don't know what hurts more, that you lied, or that I believed you." He turned to walk away. She reached for his arm. "Please." He stopped. "I was scared," she said. "Scared that if I spoke, everything would break. But now I see. It broke anyway." He didn't answer. She let go of his arm. "I'm not asking you to forgive me," she said. "I just wanted you to know the truth." He walked away slowly, into the darkness. She stood by the fountain, all alone, with nothing but the sound of water. The next morning, the hotel was quiet. Not the usual kind of quiet that came with early cleaning or room service trays. This one was different. It was the kind of silence that comes after a heavy storm. The kind where people don't know where to stand, what to say, or who to look at. And at the center of that silence was Ayesha Bello. No one called her cleaner anymore. No one hissed as she passed. No one dared whisper behind her back. Because now, everyone knew who she was. The owner. The woman they had mocked, insulted, and laughed at. She was no longer invisible. But she also wasn't smiling. Ayesha walked through the hallway of her hotel in clean jeans and a plain white shirt. She wore no makeup, no heels. Her eyes looked tired. Her steps were slow. She passed the front desk. The receptionist quickly stood. "Good morning, Ma, good morning," she corrected. Ayesha nodded, said nothing, and kept walking. Inside the staff conference room, her assistant Clara and two of her lawyers were waiting. They stood as she entered. "Good morning," Clara said softly. Ayesha sat at the head of the table and opened the file in front of her. "What's the update?" Clara cleared her throat. "We've started the internal review. Staff names are being listed. Complaints are being organized. The HR manager is ready to cooperate." "What about the cleaners?" 3 names came up again and again, Clara said. "Ronke, BC, Sade." Ayesha looked down. "Any guests?" "Yes," Clara replied. 3 guests were reported for verbal abuse. 2 for throwing objects at cleaners. 1 was caught on camera calling the kitchen assistant a monkey. Ayesha closed the file. "I want those guests banned, permanently." Clara nodded. "And the staff?" the lawyer asked. Ayesha was quiet. Then she said, "Call them in." In the break room, the air was stiff. BC sat with her arms crossed, tapping her feet. "She wants to see us," she asked. Sade looked at the floor. "That's what they said." Mama Ronki stood by the water dispenser, drinking slowly. Her hands were shaking slightly. None of them spoke as the door opened and Clara stepped in. "Follow me," she said. They followed her down the hallway and into a small meeting room. Ayesha was already inside. She didn't smile. She didn't greet. She just looked at them. Mama Ronki was the first to speak. "Good morning, Ma," she said quickly. Her voice was too sweet, like sugar hiding inside medicine. Ayesha didn't respond. She pointed at the chairs. "Sit." They sat like children in the principal's office. Ayesha leaned forward slightly. "How long have you worked here?" Ronke cleared her throat. "I've been in this line for 11 years. I've worked in other hotels. I know how." "I didn't ask about other hotels," Ayesha cut in. "Here." "How long?" 5 months, Ronke answered. Ayesha turned to BC. 3 months, BC said quickly. "Said?" Almost 2, she whispered. Ayesha nodded. So, in less than half a year, you managed to insult, bully, and shame the person who signs your salary. Ronki opened her mouth, but Ayesha raised her hand. I'm not here to argue. I'm here to correct. They sat in silence. Ayesha looked each of them in the eyes. You treated me like dirt. You lied. You laughed when others suffered. You made the workplace a nightmare for people who just wanted peace. Ronke began to cry. I didn't know, Ma. I didn't know who you were. And that's the problem, Ayesha said. If I had been the daughter of a cleaner, would that give you the right to treat me that way? Ronka looked away. Ayesha continued, her voice steady. You people think respect is for the rich, but respect is for humans. And in this hotel, everyone is human. She stood. You're all suspended. 1 month. No pay. They gasped. But, Ma, BC tried to say, if I get one complaint after that month, you're gone. Sade began to cry too. Ayesha walked to the door. Now leave. They stood slowly and walked out without a word. Clara waited outside. Next, she asked. The HR manager, Ayesha said. And tell him we're changing the rules. For the rest of the day, Ayesha sat in her office reading reports, watching camera footage, and correcting broken systems. She told Clara to install a suggestion box in the staff lounge. She approved weekly health checks for cleaners. She created a new policy. Any staff member who insulted another no matter their level would be sent home for 3 days. No warning. The hotel would no longer be a place where fear walked freely. But even as she signed new papers and heard staff say, thank you, Ma, with softer voices, her mind wasn't at peace. Because Kunle was still gone, and she had no idea where he went. That evening, she walked to the rooftop. It was quiet up there. The city below was glowing with car lights and noise, but the rooftop stayed peaceful. She stood near the edge, watching the road. She pulled out her phone and scrolled to Kunle's number. She had saved it the day he helped her clean the back steps. He didn't know. Her finger hovered over the call button, but she didn't press it. Instead, she whispered to the sky, I miss you. Then she went back downstairs. 2 days later, a letter arrived. It was written by hand. No name on the outside. Inside, it read, I'm fine. I got another job in a small restaurant. It's not fancy, but I'm breathing better. I hope the hotel is clean. Take care. K. Ayesha read it 3 times, then folded it and placed it in her drawer. She didn't cry, but her eyes stayed wet all night. A week passed. The hotel was running better. Staff started greeting each other with real smiles. The kitchen had a new assistant. The guests were more careful with their words. People talked. She's not like other rich women. She cares. But Ayesha didn't care about praise. She only cared about one thing: redemption. One morning, she walked into the kitchen during breakfast hours. The new chef was giving instructions. Staff were working quickly. She pulled the apron off a young cook and tied it around her own waist. I want to help, she said. Everyone paused. Ma? The chef asked. Don't call me Ma. Show me how to plate. And they did. That day, Ayesha plated eggs. She chopped onions. She burned toast twice. The staff laughed with her. Not at her. With her. Something had shifted. Not just in the hotel, but in her. Later that week, Clara stepped into her office. There's someone here to see you, she said. Who? A little boy. Ayesha frowned. A boy. He says his uncle used to work here. Ayesha stood and followed her to the lobby. A boy about 10 years old stood with dusty shoes and a small plastic bag. He looked up at her with big eyes. Are you Ayesha? He asked. Yes. My uncle said I should give you this. He handed her the bag and ran out before she could ask anything. Inside was a piece of bread wrapped in foil and a note. Your hands are probably still soft, but you'll be fine. K. She sat down in the lobby, right there on the marble floor, and smiled. The sky was soft that morning. Not too bright, not too dark, just calm. Ayesha sat at the cafe window inside her hotel, holding a warm cup of tea. She wasn't dressed like a boss today. She wore a simple gown, no earrings, and her slippers made no sound. The world outside moved slowly. Cars passed. Staff cleaned the glass. Guests rolled their luggage into waiting cars. The same hotel that once ignored her now bowed gently when she walked by. But her heart was still waiting. Waiting for something. Or maybe someone. She opened the small note again. The one that came with the bread last week. Your hands are probably still soft, but you'll be fine. Kay. She had read it 20 times. Folded it carefully each time. Never threw it away. She picked at the bread again, though it was stale now. Not to eat, but to remember. That same afternoon, Clara walked in and said, "There's someone outside asking to speak with you." He didn't say his name. Ayesha looked up. "What does he look like?" Clara smiled a little. "Tired, but clean." Ayesha stood slowly. Her heart was beating louder than her steps. She followed Clara through the hall, past the reception, and out the glass door. Then she saw him, standing across the street, wearing a grey shirt and black trousers, hands in his pockets, face unsure. Kunle. Her feet stopped. The wind touched her dress lightly. He didn't wave. She didn't run. They just looked at each other for a few long seconds. Then she crossed the street. They sat on a low bench under a tree beside the car park. People passed, but nobody disturbed them. The world around them faded quietly. For a long time, neither spoke. Then Kunle said, "You look different." "So do you," Ayesha replied. "I almost didn't come." "I know." He looked away. "I didn't want to be angry." She looked down. "You have every right. But I'm tired of carrying it," he said. Silence again. Then Ayesha asked, "How's the restaurant?" "Small," Kunle said, "but peaceful." She smiled softly. "That sounds like your kind of place." He nodded. "I make the stew. My cousin does the rice. His wife handles the cash." Ayesha laughed quietly. "So you're now a full businessman." He chuckled. "Still learning. I burn bread sometimes." They both laughed a little. It didn't feel forced. Then it went quiet again. Ayesha turned to him. Her voice was low. "I didn't mean to hurt you. I know. I was afraid that if I told you who I was, you'd change." "I probably would have," Kunle said. "At first." She looked at him. "So what now?" He didn't answer immediately. Then he said, "Now, I just want peace." "Me too," she whispered. He looked at her, his eyes softer than before. "Can I ask you something?" "Yes." "When you were cleaning beside me, when you were eating my toast, drinking my zobo, was it real?" She looked straight at him. "Yes," she said. "That was the most real I've ever felt in my whole life." He breathed in slowly. "Good," he said. They sat in silence again. But this time, it wasn't awkward. It was calm. After some time, Ayesha stood. "Walk with me." He stood too. They walked side by side through the back entrance, past the garden area, into the quiet path near the storage room. The same place they had sat before. The same steps they had shared food on. Everything looked the same. But everything had changed. Ayesha turned to him. "This hotel, it means a lot to me, but I was ready to throw it all away." "Why?" "Because I thought money would protect me, but it only made me feel more alone." Kunle said nothing. She added, "You were the only one who saw past it." He looked at her carefully. "And now, I want to build better. Slowly, with truth." He gave a small smile. "Sounds like a good kitchen." She laughed. "Maybe I'll apply." "You're overqualified," he said. They both smiled. He looked around. "Still smells like bleach." "Some things never change," she said. Then she asked, "Do you think we could ever talk again? Like before?" He was quiet. Then he said, "Not like before." Her heart dropped a little. But he continued, "Like something new." She looked up, hopeful. "New sounds okay," she said. He nodded. "But this time, no secrets." "No secrets," she agreed. They walked back to the front gate. She stopped and said, "Thank you for coming back." He said, "Thank you for letting me." They didn't hug. They didn't hold hands, but something was rebuilt between them. Something stronger than a title. Something better than a lie. Later that evening, Ayesha sat in her office, alone. She opened her drawer, took out the note again, and placed it beside a fresh one. This one she had just written. "You were right. I am fine, but I don't want to be fine alone." She smiled, and for the first time since she built the hotel, she felt peace. Not from the rooms, not from the chandeliers, not from the praise, but from the truth.